Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. The dev server is open again for some reason, so we're going to have a look at the changes that they've added to it over the last little bit, and yeah, it's just kind of weird, isn't it? Basically, there is a bunch of little updates to specific planes, and also some additions to kind of the ancillary stuff in War Thunder, so profile stuff and collection stuff, and also some map changes. So let's get into it. I'll put it all in this video for you, so you can have a look. As always, if you enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe and also like the video. Let's get started. So the first one is the good old maneuverability mode that they're adding, right? So this was, first of all, coming to stuff like the Su-30SM and also a few other vehicles. Well, there is now a bigger list of vehicles that are getting this kind of hyper maneuverability mode. Basically, you have all of the Su-27s, the Su-33, 34, and J-11s in the game. You also have the Rafale, which is getting it, all of the Eurofighter variants, all of the F-15 variants, the MiG-29 variants, and the Gripen variants, the J-35 variants, and also the J-10A. So that is all of the vehicles at this moment which are getting the fun button, as I suppose we could call it, which is the one that you hit, which basically kind of moves around the place. This one down here, the maneuverability and limits mode, which basically turns off your instructor setup and the AOA limits, so you can just kind of wander around and do silly things. So because of that, they have actually changed a few vehicles' flight models. So first of all, the French good old Rafale. The maximum Mach number for this vehicle has actually been increased to Mach 2, which is pretty fun. So you can go a little bit quicker. You can see the bug is still there, where the good old setup just disappears, so thank God that exists. The Eurofighters have also got some changes to their flight models. Basically, the behavior and balance at higher and critical angles of attack have been corrected. So the maximum overload in maneuvers at high speeds has been decreased to 12 Gs, so you can't just flip and dip and whip all over the place. The F-15s, also the Gripens and the MiG-29s, so all of these, and also the J-35s and the J-10, the behavior at higher than critical angles of attack has also been corrected, but it doesn't say how they've been corrected. So we'll have to see what that means in the future. Probably means they've been decreased too, because otherwise your plane would just kind of fall apart, so we'll have to see what goes on. There is a few changes for Naval 2, which is kind of nice to see. The Murasame, which you can see here, the DD-107, the ability to fire main and secondary caliber guns with one button has been disabled due to the different types of guns. The ship has a secondary caliber semi-automatic set. So this one has the 5-inch guns and also the 3-inch guns, and obviously if they allowed you to fire both at the same time, you basically just have a ridiculous amount of firepower, so they're limiting you. And that kind of sucks, because it means this vehicle is nowhere near as good as it used to be, but it also used to be pretty good. So you'll still be fine, you know, 3 single 5 inches and also 2 dual 3 inches. You can always switch between them as well with one button press. They're also changing some destroyers for the Germans. So the Z-25 and then also the Z-32, the Emden as well, and also the Marceau. So basically the vehicles with the 150mm, the destroyers and also the cruisers, the horizontal and vertical aiming speed of the turret mount of the two 150mm has been increased to 8 degrees per second, so they're a little bit quicker, which is quite nice. Another change that they've made to Naval, which is pretty cool, is in the kind of damage model setup for it. So basically, you can now track the condition of your ship's hull using the additional section of the ship's DM, which is basically at the bottom left. So you can see here where you have the hull sections. If you didn't know, they're fundamentally changing how naval damage works again. So if 2 of your sections become blackened, basically you will start sinking. They do have to be next to each other, and this is a way that you can basically track how that's happening. You can also track on the other side where it's happening to the enemy as well. So yeah, it's kind of interesting to see that they've made it a little bit clearer, which is quite nice. The enemy's hull condition can be assessed using the same scale, which is over here. So pretty much as simple as that. They've changed naval damage so much over the years. Like it seems like every other update they change it. So it's a little bit all over the place. Remember, when it comes to these things as well, they have actually also completely changed how naval aiming works in arcade, meaning that basically what you have to do is just aim at the vehicle itself. You don't have to worry about lead or anything like that. The game will auto do it for you, which is something I'm not hugely happy with, but c'est la vie, that's where we're at. Here is the HMS Repulse as well. The flooding scheme has been fixed on this. The ship no longer loses half of its buoyancy when one of its aft compartments is flooded, so that's really nice. There's been a few British vehicles that's had issues with that, unfortunately, but luckily that has been kind of fixed. They also finally changed up the reserves for the coastal stuff, so that now has actually come in. The old reserves will be available for obtaining upon purchasing the first vessel of rank 2 in Russia, Germany, Great Britain, Japan, and also France. So don't worry, you won't lose anything. They still need to fix this stat card. Wonder if they fixed the other one. Yeah, they did. There you go. They actually fixed the icons for the Hornets as well, because beforehand, these things actually looked like F-15s. But they've fixed that too, which is good. So customization stuff, they have also changed some things. So collections used to be here. They're no longer here. They're now in here. So I didn't know if they did this last update. I didn't really notice, but they're now over here. One of the things to note is they have added a new collection. So this is for all of the decals from the 2023-2024. So the game updates, you got Air Superiority, Alpha Strike, Seek and Destroy, Dance of Dragons, Firebirds, and if you have them all, you then also get the Dance of Dragons decal. So if you are a person who enjoys completing the collections and doing all of that stuff, it might be worth picking up these now. Otherwise, they might go up in price because of the collection. The actual decal itself looks really nice, so it's pretty cool to see. There's also some tasks to receive additional camouflages previously available only for GE have been added to the majority of helicopters now. So helicopters now get access to some new camos, which was the nation that got the new one. There we go, the Hack. Which is turned up, which doesn't have its camos. Never mind. So we're gonna have to check another one. Basically, yeah, these vehicles now have access to new camos, which is pretty cool. And instead of just G'ing them, you can actually grind them out. So that's really nice. Means that there's another progression element for them. Another change that's coming in is for Japan, and it's for the R2Y2s. Remember, these things are getting removed on the 30th of April. So if you don't get them by the 30th of April, they will just disappear. And they won't be available in your account, and you won't be able to do anything about it. They will be gone forever. So the V1 basically has access to a spotted camouflage, and with the release of the second update of the year, basically 2.47, so not this update, but next update, they are going to get a additional camouflage which will be changed to match the aircraft class. So the spotted camouflage you can see here, it actually tells you need to bomb bases in order to get it. They're going to switch this to enemy aircraft destructions. So it will be easier to get, because basically you only have an 800 kilo bomb in order to do all of this, to get 60 tons worth of destructions. Instead, they're going to change it to air targets, because this is basically a jet fighter, right? At the end of the day, they're doing the same thing with the Tempest. So the Mk.V, which, by the way, if you haven't played this thing, it's really fun. Highly recommend the Tempest Mk.V. Basically, with once again the second major update of the year, looks like they might be revamping a bunch of camouflages and stuff like that for that update. The vehicle destruction will be replaced with enemy aircraft destruction for the 3rd Squadron RAF camouflage that you can see here, which is kind of fun. They also have added some camos to the T69-2G. They are specifically Bangladeshi camos. I don't think they're actually in the game yet, though, unless I might be just, blind. But you can see here you have like all of the standard ones, but these Bangladeshi ones are going to be there for completing tasks or for getting access to some, or, you know, basically just GEing them. But right now, I don't actually see them on the vehicle, so we'll have to check in the future if these things kind of turn up. There's also 11 new profile icon frames, which have appeared. So if you're a person who enjoys frames, this is something that they're expanding over the next period of time, which, you know, is quite nice to see. And then also some map changes. So I'm not going to show these because they're minimum changes and you'll be able to kind of like see them as you go around. So basically, what you have is on Eastern Europe. If you have a look here, I suppose I could show you the map itself. So on Eastern Europe, oh no, oh yeah, there we go. What they're doing on this one is some trenches have been removed from the roads in the city in this location to allow the Eastern team to get to the sea point in Domination 2 mission easier. So basically, these ones probably have been removed. You know how there was like some trenches across here where you just like bump up? It basically meant that this team could get to Alpha and then push you first, whereas this team struggled to get to C first and then, you know, rigmarole. So the team on the left was always in a better position than the team on the right to start with. So they're changing that. Another change that they're also doing is for Normandy. So the Normandy map has gone through so many changes more recently. The low concrete gabions have been removed from the city. Players often didn't see them and bumped into them, which is insane and ridiculous. So yeah, basically the stuff over here is going to be disappeared. I don't, and also the ones which are over here. I did the idea of removing them because players just kept running into them just seems completely crazy. Also, small trees that appeared on all locations in one of the previous updates due to a bug have been removed. There was also a bug that caused all objects on all locations to not be damaged by HE shell explosions. That's been fixed. That is ridiculous that that's in. The size of the destruction effects for small bushes has also been corrected once again, which is something that basically happens every damn update. So this vehicle is also still here. Nothing's really changed on them. If there are any additional changes, I'll make sure to let you know. But right now, that's what's gone on. Because the dev server has been reopened, I suppose we'll have to see if anything changes going forward. But my guess is probably not. It'll probably be more kind of cockpits and HMD changes and all of those standard things. Look after yourselves. Peace be with you. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem, Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.